hate-mongering piece of shit, Dr. Seuss finally gets his comeuppance. The sounds of gay sex fill the gym, and some light bondage at the old folks' home. It's Friday night, and the feeling's right for podcasting. Let's do it. A fresh episode of the Savage Sack Tap starts right now.
You're listening to the Savage Sack Tap. It's not a podcast, it's not a half-cast, it's just a quick shot to the balls to help you finish off the week. We're cutting through the bullshit, filling your Friday with rage-fueled logic, and cracking a few jokes along the way. So grab a bag of frozen peas. There's a Savage Sack Tap coming your way.
Smooth, lascivious, salacious, outrageous.
All right, well, greetings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Guten Tag to one and all. Ich bin ein Sack Tapper. We're here, it's Friday night, and we're doing a little live streaming, doing a little podcasting. I'm going over my notes, got some fun stuff. There was no one, I don't know if there was anyone to hate. Well, last week we had the guest, JT the Twink, in studio. And the week before that, it was Valentine's Day, so I was feeling the love a little bit. There was no one to really shit on, but we got a few this week. Let me pull up the appropriate Chiron as I fuck around with my. I love this StreamYard subscription, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is fucking great. Sex or weightlifting, and check this out. We've got some more fun planned for you. If you're listening to just the audio version, I feel bad because you're missing all the fun that we are having on the live stream, which, by the way, you can find at facebook.com/thesavagecrew, or you can follow me on YouTube. It's Mike Montone, and the picture is me smoking a cigar is probably the best way to describe it. But if you're watching it on the screen, you see the sex or weightlifting Chiron at the bottom, and you see, of course, in the right-hand corner. Is it the right hand or the left hand? It's the left hand, isn't it? I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know my left from right. I'm a fucking moron. I am a retard, as you are not allowed to call anyone anymore. But it is the old gay called "It's For You" meme with the bodybuilder on it. And we will get into a little bit of that right now. I've noticed, I don't know why, but for some reason, everyone at my gym is grunting like they're in gay porn. And I understand, I don't mind if you grunt and you're pushing big fucking weight. If you're moving the fucking weight room, if you're a heavy squat, heavy dead, big bench, no problem. Grunt away. Or if it's like the last couple reps of a big set, like, you know, fucking you're at the end of a big arms workout and you're burning out with some skull crushers, fine. Last couple reps, by all means, grunt. If you're a hot chick, grunt the entire time you are in the gym. Nothing. The fucking, I don't know what it is. Like, the older I get, like when I was younger and I'd look at porn, you just, all you care about is seeing holes get filled and fun get had. As the older I get, the more I just love the sound of a chick just fucking grunting and getting off. It's erotic as fuck. So if you're a hot chick at the gym in a pair of those TikTok Amazon leggings that cup inside the ass cheeks that I've talked about so many times on this podcast before, by all means, you grunt your tight little ass off, lady, alright? What I don't need is some fucking guy who's benching 135 grunting through the entire set, and repeated sets, and set after set. The guy who was doing it is sort of the, this was on Wednesday, I think. Yeah, because I was squatting. I squatted Wednesday, and I drank. I hadn't been able to squat for a couple weeks. This will disgust you. Sometimes if you lift really heavy and you get a little dehydrated, and you keep going at it, you might get a light hemorrhoid. So ran into one of those after a heavy squat workout. So I took a week off from like squats and deads and shit just to let everything calm down. It's an occupational hazard. If you're going to lift heavy weights, every once in a while, you get a fucking hemorrhoid. You deal with it, you know. The first time it happened to me was in high school. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I went on to a powerlifting forum, and they were like, yeah, it fucking happens. It was during the football season, too, and I think it actually, during practice, it fucking popped while I was making a tackle. In any case, I don't know where I was going. Oh, yeah, I was saying I had returned to squatting, and I was in the squat rack, and I was in a very cranky mood, because if you've ever been a heavy lifting guy and you take some time off, you want to go right back to the weight you were at before you took the break. But even though it was like a 10-day break in between squatting for me, or maybe 10 to 14, about 2 weeks maybe, somewhere in that time frame. And you would think, well, that's not that long, you should be fine. But what happens is when you're moving, like when you're really fucking with some nice heavy weights, you kind of make these little neural adaptations where there's a spot, it's called the neuromuscular junction, and it's where the nerves hit the muscle and send the message to them to lift the weight. And when you can really tell the difference when you've been going at it for a while and that shit's all honed, and then when you've taken a 2-week layoff, it just doesn't fire as quickly. And you wind up, especially with like an exercise with like the squat, where there's a weight on your bar, or when there's a bar on your back, on your fucking spine. It's really important when you're down in that low squat position that everything be firing like that, because you got to be able to drive up out of it. So I had close to 300 pounds in my back, and things weren't firing right, and it was like, it's a fucking struggle, and you're worrying about, like, you know, blowing out a fucking disc or something like that. And I'm getting distracted the entire time by this guy I got fucking clowns to the left of me. Fuck! Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, shouldn't have hit the fucking vape pen before doing this podcast. But no, I got this guy to my right he's moving 135, and he's grunting through the entire set, and he's in his outfit is what I like to call the sort of new yuppie workout chic. He's got like the tights. They wear the tights under the basketball shorts. I don't know, like, they think they're warming up on the field before a fucking NFL game. It's ridiculous. It looks absurd. You're inside at a fucking gym. Either wear sweatpants or shorts. You look like an asshole in fucking tights. And he had like the hoodie and the AirPods, just the perfect Hoboken douche. He was tall. He had the well-trimmed beard. Just a complete, like, I always see guys like that, and I'm like, I would like to mug you. If I was into violent crime, I would take your wallet outside the gym. And then, to the left of me there's this little cable setup next to the squat rack. It's one of those ones where it's like all of it's like 4 seats kind of squared together, and in the middle there's a post that has cables coming off of it, so you can do push downs on one, you can do curls on the other, you do flies, and then I don't know what the other one's for, but this guy was wearing a Green Rock Football Sunday t-shirt. Green Rock is the bar in Hoboken where all of the party people go to get hammered. I'll be honest, it is fun. If you don't have a rooting interest in the games that are on, it is fun because you could get some chick grinding her ass up on your fucking crotch. You drink a beer, there's a football game on, and then, there's some, douche DJ blasting fucking Flow Rida. It's not unfun, but it's where the party people of Hoboken go to watch football. So he's got his Green Rock Football Sunday t-shirt on, and he's doing this sort of vigorous isolation exercise circuit, like big time douche bro vibes coming out of this guy, and he's grunting the whole fucking time through. And there were more. It was like, if I saw 8 guys at the gym that day, 6 of them were grunting excessively, which is way too much. Usually it's like 1. There's this one little, like, Hispanic dude who does it, but he's really, I've seen him, he's lost a shitload of weight. I used to see him up during when the gym was closed during lockdown, he would work out at the park up by me. I guess he lives in the neighborhood. He goes at it real hard, and he's looks like he's made some nice progress. I don't mind so much when he does it, but I do laugh because it's just ridiculous. Because these guys all sound like they're having hardcore gay sex. Like, I don't know if you remember the Adam Sandler sketch from I forget what the fucking CD was. It came out when I was in 5th grade. It was fucking hilarious to me in 5th, and probably still as an adult. It was the Adam Sandler CD that had the cock and balls sketch where they're swimming in this backyard pool, and the mother keeps offering to make them sandwiches and suck their cocks. and actually most of the CD seem to revolve around gay sex to one degree or another, but there's this one sketch called Sex or Weightlifting where Adam Sandler goes out as he does like a man on the street report, and he's playing sounds, and it's the sounds of two people, and you can't tell if they're having sex or if they're working out. And he plays them for people on the street to play a game called Sex or Weightlifting, and the sounds they're fucking hilarious. Like, there's one where the guy's fucking a chick, and he's fucking her, and he's yelling, "No dumbbells in here, baby, only my balls." And every time he plays one of these audios of just people having explicit intercourse, the person will guess, oh, that sounds like two people having sex, and he'll correct them and like scold them for having a sick mind, and he'll explain that, they were doing, they were doing flies, they were doing pec flies, they were doing a military I think that was the gay one. The gay one was I think the first words out of the guy's mouth is, "Oh, we're two guys fucking," and then it's just, "Ugh, yeah, yeah," and it is the grunts of gay sex, and I lost my I briefly lost my my stream of thought. Oh yes, it was the grunts of gay sex. And that is exactly what I heard all Wednesday in the gym, was just the sound of what I knew it was weightlifting because I could see people lifting weights, but it was, in reality, it looked like, or it sounded like male on male intercourse. So that was my Wednesday. And I used to, these used to be like the things that would infuriate me, but part of me now is, I'm like, and this is going to be something I'm going to get into a minute when we talk about coronavirus. I'm like, I think part of navigating life, you have to limit the amount of things that irritate you. Like, things will always irritate me for content's sake. Like, that irritated me for content's sake. But the ability to get, like, riled up, like, people are just way too riled these days. I can't be in the riled crowd anymore. There's just way too much of that shit on whatever side you want to say that you're on. And one of the things that I have found people are getting particularly riled about is this mask shit. The new thing, and and if you can see the image I just threw up there on the stream, is we're getting, it feels like, towards the end of coronavirus, right? We got springtime. Springtime is approaching. We're a couple weeks away from spring. On next Friday, I believe, or next weekend, end of next week is sort of the 1-year anniversary of lockdown. Vaccines are coming out. People are getting excited to put this bullshit behind us, right? Although I will say, they hurry up with this fucking $1,400 check. I heard that there are some lawmakers who want to give us a check like every month, which, by the way, you stole it from us when you fucking taxed us, so you should be giving it back, cocksuckers. This isn't... draw a broad line of demarcation between socialism and giving people their fucking money back. But it feels like even though we're getting closer to the end, there are still these buzzkills out there who are just 100% committed to COVID culture. I walk around Hoboken a lot, and there's a mask mandate in Hoboken. You have to have one at least kind of hanging on your chin. I wear it on my chin, but everyone in Hoboken walking around outside has a mask up on their face, and they look at you like your dick is hanging out of your pants if you don't have a mask over your mouth and nose. And I will look, if it's your store, if your rule is you have to have the mask on to come inside, whatever, like, that's not a problem to me. Outside, it's fucking nuts. It's fucking crazy. And I feel like the people who wear them outside and who think everyone should wear them outside, they're a certain breed of anxious. And they wanna quell the anxiety with control, and they're the ones who are, I bet a lot of them are teachers, a lot of them are female teachers, dollars to fucking donuts, that many of them are chicks who educate children, and they're turning the kids into complete fucking pussies. But they're very anxious people. Like this generation of kids, and probably the last generation and a half or so, have been raised by very anxious people. They've been raised by pussies. Adam Carolla always uses the phrase, we've deputized pussies into making and enforcing rules. And these are people that, like, the reasonable, you would never listen to these fucking people because they're just idiots. They're quick to scare, quick to be anxious. Everything rises to the level of some kind of drama. And I see them on my, I'm in a bunch of these Jersey City Heights Facebook groups because you find out about what's going on in the neighborhood. If it's street cleaning, snowplow, bullshit like that. It's just one of those convenient things to kind of follow on social media if you want to know what's going on where you live. And you'll see them, like, once every week or so, someone will post about how they've been in the park and people aren't wearing masks. And you're like, 'cause we're fucking outside. All right? Like, this used to be Jersey City and Hoboken used to be populated by really tough people. Hoboken, on the waterfront, Frank Sinatra, the Mob, but like all of these fucking guys. It was a gritty, you see the old pictures of like Nirvana when they came to play at Maxwell's, and they're walking down the street, they're getting photographed, and you look around and it's a shithole. And the Jersey City Heights, where I live, used to be a hotbed of Cuban mob activity. Like, they were blowing up cars and shooting the shit out of each other all around up here. And now, it's all of these, progressive, white, liberal pussies who they were raised during the, I guess, the latter portion of the 90s. I guess they're the ones. So if you're an older millennial, I feel like you dodged a lot of this shit just because we still had some of that Gen X floating in, and you'd still go out and throw eggs at things, and you toss the word, fag and retard and stuff around at the cafeteria table. And offensive as those words may be, when you do that, when you grow up doing that, you don't grow up like a fucking pussy, right? You don't grow up hating homosexuals or the mentally challenged. You just used ridiculous words when you were a child. But you don't grow up like a fucking pussy. But there were, I guess, places that were quicker to pussify. And then you have to figure anyone growing up, anyone who hit high school after 2005 or say, really got raised like a pussy. And if you got to high school in 2005, then graduated in 2009, and then you're out of college by 2013 or so. So you are in your late 20s, early 30s now. So you're the grown-up pussy who's walking around the park, scowling and giving a death stare to anyone who doesn't have a mask on over their face, even though you're outside in the fresh air, where, follow the science, we have learned that it really doesn't do shit outside. You're pretty much fine, prolonged contact, all that stuff, and yet you're still going on Facebook and acting like a fucking cunt in the neighborhood group page. I just want to find out if there's a new taco place opening up. That's why I follow that page. I don't need to look for a new taqueria and wind up getting scolded because fucking Karen, excuse me for using the cliche, but Karen from the Jersey City Heights, who graduated from fucking Morristown Beard in 2012, is acting like a fucking cunt because she's scared of her own shadow. All right, don't blame me. Blame your obsession with Anderson Cooper. Blame the fact that you spent the past year inside, listening, salivating at every piece of fear porn that the mainstream media put in front of you. By the way, how are things going with the Cuomos? You still trust them? Is Cuomo still the man? Are you still a Cuomo-sexual? Seems like he tried to make a number of women Cuomo-sexuals, and they were not having it. Anyway, the stupidity surrounding the corona. I feel like the image that will live in my mind as the dumbest fucking thing to come out of coronavirus, and there have been a great many. The applauding the first responders and whatever that bullshit was, that's up there. Imagine all the people. That awful fucking Gal Gadot celebrity video, and so much more. So much fucking ridiculous garbage over the past year. But if you're looking at the screen, which side of me is it on? Is it on to my left? Nope. That ways. If you can see the image that is burned into the screen, I am really, really trying to sell people on this fucking live stream here. If you can see that, it is the green tent pod that they are making kids in the Pacific Northwest take band practice in. Here's the copy. Earlier this week, the Wenatchee High School band held practice in music pods, KATU reported. Members of the Golden Apple Marching Band were set up in individual pop-up tents. Apple green, of course. The solution has allowed the band to practice together since January, KHQ reported. The pods are made up of cloth with a plastic enclosure with just enough room for each musician to fit comfortably inside with their instruments. Except the sousaphone kid who looked like he's absolutely fucking miserable. If you don't know what sousaphone is, it's like the big, fucking massive. What's it? It's like a bigger version of, not the trombone. I don't fucking know. It's the huge one. And some poor fucking nerd has to sit in there with an oversized instrument. It just sucks. It looks so fucking stupid. And it's like, it's bad enough already being, in the band, the reputation of being, although I don't know anymore. I guess it's 2021. My high school, the band kids, it was like Asians and then stoners. Like, that was the combination of kids in the marching band. It was very interesting. It was hilarious, actually. Like, you'd look up in the stands during a football game, and the fucking stoner ones, they'd have, like, their fucking, like, their suspenders and shit off. They'd just be kicking back. They were great. I loved them. Actually, one of the kids on the football team was in the band. He didn't get to, he was the sousaphone player. He's making shitloads of money now, too. Probably gets all sorts of pussy. So, see that, kids? You can be in the band and grow up to get pussy. The pods were tested to ensure that small particles did not escape during use, KHQ reported. The area health district approved the use of the pods in December. The television station reported students remain in the pods for less than 30 minutes during their 35-minute music periods. Yeah, I don't know. I think these kids are going to go one way or the other. They're either going to become, because they're being raised now by pussies. Because remember, the people who were raised to be pussies are now old enough to have kids, some of whom are getting close to and even in middle school, high school, whatever, if you had a kid early. And it appears that they are raising their kids to be pussies. So the question is, will these kids now being raised by pussies to be pussies, will it swing back the other way? Because a lot of times kids, they rebel, they push back against their parents. Like, my mom tried to raise me as a pussy. My father did nothing to stop it. They tried to, I wanted to play football. They tried to trick me into playing soccer. I remember they dropped me off at the soccer practice. I was very confused about this. I had no idea why, because I was playing football and I was going to football practice, and I was tiny and I sucked my first couple years, but I liked it. And they take me to soccer practice. I'm out there for an hour. I have no idea what's going on. It wasn't fun. The sport fucking blew. They grab me. We get in the car. We're driving home. And they're like, so, you want to play soccer now? The coach said you were the best one on the field. And even then, as like a naive child, I was like, first of all, there's no fucking way I was the best one on the field. I had no idea what was going on. I'm chasing a stupid fucking soccer ball all over the fucking place while these twinks kick it back and forth to each other. This is not for me. But I did love sports, so I was like, look, I'll play both, but football remains in the equation. They're like, no, you have to pick one. So I called their bluff. I picked football, and that was that. That was history. But I went from that day forth. It was like my goal to not be a fucking pussy, and that leads to years of playing football and weightlifting and joining the Marine Corps during a two-theater war. So I guess the hope is that these kids who are being raised now as... Hold on. I was eating popcorn before. A piece of fucking kernel in my mouth. It came out. It was like lodged in my tooth and it came out. I'm very happy. The hope is that these kids who are being raised as pussies by pussies will sniff out the fact that their parents are trying to turn them into pussies, and they will realize that there's no room for fucking pussies in this world, and they will decide to go in the complete opposite direction and become the opposite of pussies. Maybe they'll go on to host shows named The Savage Sack Tap and tell all your friends about it, by the way. We can only hope. I do appreciate this very non-pussy-ish behavior by Fox 5 news anchor Blake McCoy. He was suspended on Tuesday after he made insensitive remarks about the COVID-19 vaccination rollout in Washington, D.C. This is, I guess he tweeted, "I'm annoyed obese people of all ages get priority vaccine access before all essential workers when most stayed home. We went into work every day last March, April, May, and every day since, putting ourselves and loved ones at risk," McCoy wrote in a since-deleted tweet on Tuesday. He added, "Vaccinate all essential workers, then obese." And they're calling this insensitive, which, you know, I get it. He's been going... You got some fat ass who's been sitting on their ass watching whatever Netflix puts out every month, ordering fucking Seamless, just leaning into COVID culture, going Zoom happy hours, drinking, making baking treats, all of that shit. Because, well, the gyms are closed, can't go to the gym, and, it's just stress and comfort food, and every other fucking excuse that people have made to turn into fat fucks during lockdown. And this guy is going out... Remember last March and April when we literally thought that coming within 6 feet of a person would cause you to die? Because that's what they were saying to us in the press conferences. If you come within 6 feet of a person and you breathe, you will die. I remember a person would now if someone comes too close, you don't give a fuck. March last year, if someone came too close to you in line at the store, you'd give them a fucking death glare. It was like when fucking like when there's a dispute in like a prison chow hall. The look that guys would give each other. If someone wanted someone's fucking fruit cocktail. That's the look you would give someone if they came too close to you in line at the grocery store. Now nobody gives a fuck. But if you, yeah, he's right. Like, if you were going out, because I was going out March, April, I was commuting in, I was riding a fucking packed bus and all that shit. And, you know, with a fucking 2 months in, I realized it was maybe a tad overblown. But, you know, I get it. Like, see, he's saying, yeah, it's fucking bullshit that there may be an essential worker missing out on a vaccine in favor of a snack food enthusiast who spent the entire fucking lockdown posting on social media about Joe Exotic. Yeah, what his frustration resonates, okay? Jesus. And remember, by the way, when we were celebrating the essential workers, we had to bang, I was talking about before, we had to bang pots and pans every night for the essential workers and the first responders, and how fucking stupid was that? But if we're gonna say that, you know, you guys took the risk to do all this shit to make sure that society could still kind of function during a COVID lockdown, you understand why they might want to get a vaccine first, right? You got a fucking a cheeseburger delivery guy, a Seamless or Uber Eats or whatever the fuck driver delivery guy is dropping off a sack of White Castle at a fat guy's house. If you're the fucking delivery driver and the fat guy who's sitting at home waiting for you to risk everything delivering his fucking crave case, you would understand that guy being frustrated if the tub got the vaccine first. That makes sense to me. I don't know why we have to be so fucking apologetic about everything. Of course, shortly after McCoy's remarks, he tweeted an apology. Earlier today, I tweeted something insensitive and offensive, the Fox 5 anchor wrote. Yeah, he wants to keep his job. That's why he's tweeting it. He continued, I truly regret my words and want to apologize. I have deleted my tweet and ask that you accept my sincere apology. You know what's fucking hilarious? Again, he had to tweet this because otherwise he would be fired. He would lose his job, and I'm surprised he wasn't fired anyway. But he works for a local Fox outlet. If he had gone on fucking Tucker or on like Judge Janine or whatever her fucking name is, or Hannity, and said this, it would have been no one giving shit. People would have been cheering, which is also hilarious since I feel like Tucker's target demo does include large swaths of America's somewhat portly heartland, the Midwest freaks. If you watched last week's episode, probably a lot of crossover between people who audition for, star in, and view MidwestFreaks.com content and people who enjoy Tucker Carlson's content. But yeah, if he had made these comments on, I'm surprised. I'm sure I don't watch Tucker every night, but I'm sure he said something similar. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a dog in the fight. Like I said, I have avoided getting into anything involving COVID pretty well, I think, for the past year. And I don't mean not commenting it on here. I mean, it's fucking headline news every day. I'm gonna fucking mention it. But I mean, I've avoided obsessing. The only real frustration I felt was when the gym was closed. That drove me fucking nuts. Like, not being able to go to the gym and work out, I was fucking losing it. But I made do, kettlebells, bands, all of the other shit. But now that the gym is back open, I don't give a fuck. I do not give a shit. I sit back, I enjoy the chaos and the uproar that everyone's getting into, and watching people scream at each. Remember over the summer when it was like every 2 days there was a new Karen video coming out, and white women were just throwing fucking fits inside of convenience stores and Whole Foods, and they were, they're throwing cans of fucking tofu at the cashier's skull because they were told to put a mask on. That was great. I loved it. Yeah. I again, I kind of agree with him, but more than anything, I enjoyed that this guy was I believe he is a gay gentleman, by the way. So I love this twink just getting so annoyed with all the COVID stuff and then going and taking it out on the fatties. But I understand. He comes from a section of society that values abs. He has no time for fat fucks. He does not attend Asbury Bear weekend, okay? This gentleman needs his vaccine so he can hit the circuit on Fire Island or DuPont Circle or wherever it is he cavorts during the summer, because they are saying that summer 2021 could be the jam. Well, at least half the people are saying that. Half the people are saying that this summer is going to be the fucking bomb, and then half the people are saying that we can't go back to normal until, fucking 2033 or whenever the fuck. Who knows? We'll be alive back then. Fucking who knows what the Chinese will have released into the atmosphere by then. They definitely did this shit, by the way. Those motherfuckers definitely did it. More on Chinamen later. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. Dr. Seuss can't even get away with it. But before we jump the gun on partying, we should understand that it's not party time yet because Leprechaun has been canceled. Where's my other thing? Hold on. Less dramatic transition. Oh, there we go. Yes, Leprechaun has indeed been canceled. What is this? NJ.com. This weekend will be an unusually quiet first weekend of March in Hoboken. The annual Leprechaun Bar Crawl, the city's unofficial early celebration of St. Patrick's Day, has been canceled, becoming the second controversial bar crawl to be nixed during the coronavirus pandemic. The SantaCon Christmas event was scratched in December. The cancellation of Leprechaun is welcome news given that we are still in the middle of a global health crisis, said Mayor Ravi Bahala. I thank the many business owners who have been in regular contact with my office and have refused to participate in this unsanctioned event. Yes, of course, they've refused. Now, I don't really fucking drink that much anymore. Like, my consumption is way down, so I forgot that Leprechaun was even supposed to be this weekend. I used to rage for Leprechaun, but I am relatively plugged into the Hoboken bartender scene. Like, I've had several roommates who are Hoboken bartenders, done shore houses with them. I have spent a lot of time going to bars in Hoboken. My sister is marrying, a guy who's bartending in Hoboken. His brother bartends in Hoboken. So this is, I have heard from bartenders, and the bars in Hoboken never agree to shit. What happens is the town, the mayor's office, threaten to pull liquor licenses and enforce curfews, and they basically, they mafia you. Hoboken, way back when, mafia town, waterfront, union town. The biggest criminals in Hoboken now reside in City Hall. They go around threatening the fucking drinking establishments, and that's how they get them to agree to shut things down. And they've been after this for a long time. This is not, this has been like building up for a while now. Hoboken went through a period where it was like the greatest party town in the state, and they have gone to pains to undo that, which is funny because down in Belmar, where you have a vocal sort of townspeople trying to cock block all of that stuff, the bars, they don't give a shit. They work. They just, they kick a couple bucks over to City Hall. They do the right thing, and they're left the fuck alone. They actually get police protection outside of DJs and Bar A and what have you. But what are they saying here? Last year, 6 people were arrested on charges ranging from drug offenses to driving while intoxicated. That was significantly down from 34 arrests in 2011. Only 4 bars participated in 2020, which Mayor Bahala said was an all-time low. Bahala said he was happy that, by the way, that's not true. Only 4 bars may have officially participated in 2020. And by the way, that was also because it was the beginning of coronavirus, so people were being told, hey, stay the fuck home. But people were going to every bar. They're just talking about the bars that, like, sell wristbands and shit for this bar crawl. And it used to be a fucking banger. Then the town voted in this fucking cocksucker Bahala. My administration has made a substantial effort to engage with a number of bar owners about con events, and as a result, an all-time low of only 4 bars participated. And I thank those establishments for their assistance. Yeah, he said he's happy the bar crawl was continuing to lose steam, which he repeated this year. And then this other jerk-off, this councilman Mike DeFusco, whose ward includes numerous downtown bars, previously pushed legislation to scale down Leprechaun and said he was sad that the cancellation only happened because of the pandemic. Hopefully a quiet St. Patrick's Day celebration this year will emphasize the need to advance quality of life legislation surrounding large-scale pub crawls, he wrote in a text. What fucking buzzkills? And by the way, across the river, we spent all summer watching people smash fucking store windows open, and that was fine because there was a bunch of rich white kids protesting an injustice or whatever to get back at their parents. We can't have a fucking bar crawl, which, a couple people piss and puke in the street. It's barely more than happens on a regular Saturday night, by the way. That's what these fucking buzzkills will deceive you about. Like, the amount of people who get arrested for, public intoxication or getting into a fight or whatever on a regular Saturday night in Hoboken is about the same, I would think, as for fucking the bar crawls. But he's gonna go, we're gonna make fucking legislation surrounding large-scale pub crawls. How? Explain to me how you can prevent large amounts of people from all deciding to go to a bar on the same day. If the bar is within fire code, if they have an orderly line outside, what? And I realize it sounds fucking ridiculous to get annoyed by this, but it's a fucking First Amendment issue. It's the fucking government cracking down on people's ability to just enjoy their lives freely. On a day, you have 2 big bar crawls in Hoboken every year, Leprechaun and SantaCon, and people get a little ridiculous, whatever. You pay a couple extra bucks so you have more cops on, put some fucking porta potties out on the street, block the streets off so no one's driving, and just let people have fucking fun. Like, what a buzzkill town Hoboken has become. I don't understand why people like Hoboken so much, because it's just filled with these buzz-killing assholes. And the worst part about it is that the ones who killed the buzz in Hoboken are the same ones who moved here 15 years ago or whatever because Hoboken was a big party town. That's it. When you see the fucking chicks pushing their fucking strollers along the sidewalk in Hoboken, part of the reason they're demanding all of these fucking crackdowns and shit, and they're voting for these jerk-offs, is because they feel guilty about pushing a stroller down the sidewalk that they once puked on and called their fucking boyfriend a cunt into the cell phone or whatever. They feel this, they have this retroactive guilt, and it's building up their fucking anxiety, and it's a look back at their youth that they lost, and they're becoming these just frumpy, unpleasant, awful fucking Hoboken housewives who take up the fucking sidewalk with their strollers and they move slowly and they get in the fucking way. They're the same ones walking around with masks on outside, staring at you like you're. They're the ones who will look at you. If you're walking around without a fucking mask on, they'll look at you like you're walking around shouting the N-word at the top of your fucking lungs. That's who these fucking people they are. They're walking down the street arm in arm with their husband who's got his stupid fucking cuckboy puff vest on. And as they walk by a bar on Washington Street, they remember the time they got fingered in the bathroom while their husband, who they were dating at the time, was waiting at the bar nursing a fucking IPA. And they're just filled with guilt by their whorish, stupid, drunk, absurd behavior that we all engaged in, by the way. I gave New Year's Eve one year, I gave some broad the shocker in a bathroom at a bar in the city, and I wiped my fucking shit-stinking finger under my buddy's nose, and he had to go outside to puke, alright? Okay? I've puked in Hoboken. Everyone I know has puked all over Hoboken. Leprechaun used to fucking rule. And these fucking losers had to go and ruin. Like I said, I don't drink that much anymore. I completely forgot that Leprechaun was coming up. But I acknowledge the fun of Leprechaun and SantaCon. It's fucking great. You wake up in the morning, you have kegs and eggs with your friends. You mix in some stimulants, maybe some cocaine or some Adderall. There are sluts stumbling around all over the place. They got like their green tank tops on with their nipples poking through, or their cut off green shirts. You're boozing. You get some pizza. It's nice. You drink. You wake up. You'll load up on bagels and eggs and bacon, and you drink you drink beers, and you do car bombs, and you got fucking Dropkick Murphys bumping through the speaker system, and people are patrolling around the streets, and they're having a great time. Everyone's having a good time, and then by like 8 o'clock, you grab you grab a couple slices, and you go pass out. You're passed out by like 9 p.m. So you get a full night's sleep. No hangover on Sunday. You wake up and there's just your apartment's a disaster. There's beer cans and whiskey bottles and pizza boxes all over the fucking place. So much fun. So much fun. I love a good St. Patrick's Day. I remember St. Patrick's Day. I forget what year it was. I got hammered. I banged this chick. She was laying in bed. I got up, I stumbled to the bathroom, I had to take a huge shit. I'd been holding in a shit the entire time I fucked her. I took a shit, came back, jumped in the shower, washed myself, went back in the room, and we fucked again. And then I went out and got pizza. It was great. Leprechaun fucking ruled. It was like college. I don't know how you could not like it. It's a St. Patrick's Day parade is fun. I get it. Look, again, I used to be one of these drunk, annoying assholes that everyone hates. Now I'm not, I don't get hammered anymore. Now I'm just an annoying asshole that everyone hates who likes to nurse the occasional beer while he watches football. But St. Patrick's Day is the shit, okay? Objectively speaking, fun. Unless you are a sourpuss killjoy. Embrace it. I remember my last St. Patrick's Day on Okinawa, Japan was when that huge earthquake and tsunami hit mainland Japan in 2011 and fucked everything. It was like the Fukushima, like it hit the nuclear reactor and everything got fucked up in Japan. I was out drinking. I mean, it happened the night before, but I didn't realize. I was like a month away from going home, so I was mentally checked the fuck out. I didn't even realize that we might be called upon to supply troops or equipment to the rescue effort. So I got fucking wasted the night before. Woke up the next day to keep drinking with my buddies because the Kadena Gate 2 Street St. Patrick's Day parade was that weekend. Kadena Gate 2 Street is where it fucking went down. Like, that was the party spot on Okinawa. Like, you'd go out there and get fucking ripped. That's where the banana show was, where this old broad would shove a banana in her pussy and chop it up and spit it back out. And anyway, I got fucking annihilated during this thing. There was a bar called Patty Mac's out there, and I got shithoused during the day, and then we went over to this place called the Seawall, where we used to drink and hang out. I don't think we stopped drinking. Like, I don't think we went home at all during the day. I think we started drinking at like 11 a.m., then we went out mid-afternoon, and then we boozed until 2 a.m., and it was around 2 a.m. that I got a call from the battalion duty officer informing me that there was going to be like a 7 a.m. meeting, and this was about providing troops and gear for this mission up on mainland Japan. He's like, hey, you got to tell your guys to start getting this shit ready. So I'm in this place, Barflies. It was this karaoke bar, no, it was a karaoke. It was a music video bar we used to hang out at, and we would drink this shit called Chuhai, which is it's basically Japanese jungle juice. Gets you. They have it in like every flavor. It's all in fruit flavors, and it gets you fucking housed. So after a day of doing car bombs, I'm drinking Chuhais at Barflies, and I'm using a bar napkin and a pencil to write shit down, take notes while talking to the duty officer, and relay that shit to a master sergeant who's got the Marines like loading fucking heavy equipment and shit to go up to mainland Japan to help with the relief effort. And they're like, oh yeah, by the way, 7 a.m. meeting down at battalion. So I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck. So I jump in a cab, I go home, I get like 3 hours of sleep, I wake up, I chug an energy drink, I'm like, I take a shower, I'm as sober as can be driving down to this thing and walking into this thing given the circumstances. So I walk in about 10 minutes late in a hoodie, basketball shorts, and flip-flops, carrying... I walked into the building, I grabbed a piece of paper and a pen off of a desk, and I have a Gatorade in my other hand, and the obnoxious sound that flip-flops make when they're hitting a linoleum floor? Well, I'm doing that around the corner, and what to my eyes do I see but the entire battalion staff, with the battalion commander at the head of the conference table. This is about 20 people, everyone in full uniform, and I'm in, it's actually over there. I still have the hoodie. Give me 1 second. I'm wearing this bad boy, my fucking white Aeropostale hoodie, with the fucking hood up over my head, and I take my seat at the table, I put my little piece of paper down, and I act like nothing is amiss. The captain, who was sitting to my left, leaned in, and I guess I still smelled like booze, and he just whispered, so did you bring the whole fucking bar with you? Yeah. What a St. Patty's. After the meeting was over, the battalion commander, who is this like real good old southern boy, just looks me up and down, and he's like, Lieutenant Montone, looking good, feeling good. His accent was very close to the Will Ferrell impression of George W. Bush, so that's how I always, whenever I imitate Lieutenant Colonel Poole, who I believe is either a full bird or a general now. But, yeah, whenever I imitate him, it's the Lieutenant Montone, looking good, feeling good. Yeah, that was fun. And as soon as the meeting was over, I relayed the info to the people who had to hear it, and then I went and passed out in the passenger seat of my car for the next 5 hours or so. Went and got into uniform there was an evening meeting planned as well. That was not a fun day for me. I did not enjoy that, but a hilarious story nonetheless. And if you want to hear a real hilarious story, let me tell you about the events of the past week in cancel culture here. And do we have? Yes, we do. Oh, look at that. Where is the... here it is. Green eggs and hate. Yo, yo, ma. Una minuto. None of you cocksuckers have commented yet, huh? I'll remember that. Okay. Yes, it was indeed a big week for cancel culture. I'm assuming you have heard about the Mr. Potato Head and Dr. Seuss kerfuffles. If you haven't, allow me to fill you in. Online auction site eBay tells the Wall Street Journal on Thursday that it was sweeping its marketplace to prevent the resale of Dr. Seuss books that the author's estate announced it would no longer publish or license due to racist depictions of non-white characters. The books in question are The Cat's Quizzer and To Think That I Saw It on Mulberry Street, If I Ran the Zoo, McElliot's Pool, Scrambled Eggs. Is that all one? McElliot's Pool, Scrambled Eggs Super, and On Beyond Zebra. I don't know what the fuck any of these are. To be totally honest, I think the ones I knew about, the Dr. Seuss books I was aware of, Green Eggs and Ham, Cat in the Hat, Hop on Pop, the Grinch, the Lorax. I don't know. Are there others? Oh, the places. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess what they're saying is the imagery, because these things were written in, I don't know, the fucking 1930s. They're saying the imagery was racist, and as you can see, I always forget, is it this way, is it that way, where did I put the fucking... If you could see whichever direction I'm pointing in, that the Chinese guy on the screen, or in, I guess back in the day that it was written, they would call him an Oriental or a Chinaman. You're not allowed to say that anymore, which I'm still not sure why. I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to call a Chinese guy a Chinaman, a man from China. Like, that just sounds like a very literal use of a word. I don't know. That one befuddles me. So does Oriental. Like, I don't understand why you wouldn't call the Orient things oriented there. I don't... It's where, like, you know, they invented gunpowder and pasta and... Yeah, that one I don't fucking get either. It feels like we just change words every few decades because someone would have said something bad about... They would have been like, oh, like they would have complained about a Chinese guy, and they would have been complaining about the Chinaman. And then after a while, they're like, hey, you're being a dick about the Chinese. You can't call them the Chinaman anymore. It's the Chinese. But now, if you just complain about the Chinese, you're not... So it's very confusing how people react to these words and how we decide that things are offensive. But I don't know. Like, they... You know... They're just going to keep going... I don't... We're just gonna keep fucking getting rid of stuff. We're gonna cleanse it's weird to me. Like, it's not like, I would understand if the title of the book was Hop on Pop, so he can't leave and is forced to stay and raise his kids. And, you know, the character, the pop being hopped on, was a gentleman of color. I would understand that, right? Oh, the places you'll go to escape your changing neighborhood. And it's a white family moving out of, it's a picture of a white family moving out of a house while a black family moves in next door. I would understand how that was offensive, right? The Cat in the Hat, I don't see offense there. The Cat in the White Hood, sure, we're tracking. Again, green eggs and hate, right? We had to replace the ham with hate. We were out of ham because we threw it at a Jewish kid who was walking to school. I mean, I would understand if the storyline in Green Eggs and Ham was it became Green Eggs and Hate because of that sequence of events, I would understand why people would be offended by Dr. Seuss. And these are I also understand that there are people out here who might take umbrage to me even having this kind of fun with those titles, but you cunts better fucking relax. We need to get back to enjoying jokes. We need to get back to fun. I want us to have fun. I want us to have bar crawls and offensive comedy and big tits and wet pussies and everything else. Anyway, the estate of the late cartoonist pulled the 6 volumes from licensing and publishing deals on Tuesday. Random House Children's Books will continue to publish his more well-known classics like The Cat in the Hat and Green Eggs and Ham. On Tuesday, Dr. Seuss Enterprises, which manages the catalog of Theodore Seuss Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, told insiders Rachel E. Greenspan in a statement that ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families. I'm going to be honest. The same way I pointed out that when the jerk-off mayor of Hoboken explains that bars are cooperating with their desire not to have a leprechaun, and it's not that the bars are cooperating, it's that the bars have been coerced and threatened and told that they will no longer be in business if they don't play ball. This is the same shit. It's the same language. It's fucking hostage talk, okay? These people are desperately trying to preserve Dr. Seuss's reputation, so they're bending the knee because they don't want him to be viewed in retrospect as a racist, which he probably wasn't. He was probably just a man of his time. And back then, you gotta understand, the 1930s, okay? The big immigration wave to this country was just petering out in the 1930s. The whole melting pot thing, the whole fucking, like Lower Manhattan, where it's Chinatown, Little Italy, the Polish neighborhoods, all of that, Irish neighborhoods, all intermingling, Russians, whatever. That was still going on and a relatively new thing in the 1930s. So people were hyper aware of their differences and looked at each other in a really cartoonish manner, okay? This isn't representative of hate. It's representative of where we were and now where we are. It is much more even from an academic sense, it makes much more sense to keep these works around and to teach them to kids within their appropriate context, the context of that time, what was going on. And again, a lot of it wasn't hateful, it just was the way they would talk about each other. That they would fucking say, the Irishman, the Jew, the Polak, the Guinea, the Wop, this is just how they spoke. If you come from an Italian family and your grandmother, your great-grandmother is still alive, anyone from back in that time, if you have relatives in their 80s, their 90s, if you come from an Italian family, ask them what they called Brazil nuts. I'll not say it during this podcast because it will get pulled out of context by someone, but ask what they called Brazil nuts. So when I see language, ceasing sales of these books is only part of our commitment and our broader plan to ensure Dr. Seuss Enterprises catalog represents and supports all communities and families. That's fucking hostage talk. And this is why people get mad about what we think of as cancel culture. They don't like the forced capitulation, right? They don't like that your options are erase this or lose your reputation and your livelihood, right? It's the few ordering around the many. And that's why eBay is ceasing sales, is because people have been going and buying these things up like crazy. As soon as something gets canceled, it becomes like a hot sale item. People want it. Because most people don't agree with this shit. It is the few ordering around the many. It is the wokenistas in academia and the corporate press who are doing this, right? Look at this. I love this headline from NBC. The reckoning with Dr. Seuss's racist imagery has been years in the making. I mean, when you write a headline like that, you are not even trying to fucking hide it. And then they quote these nut jobs. And this is the appropriate answer, by the way, and I'll sort of elaborate on this later. The appropriate answer is to call them nut jobs. You can't give these people credence to these fucking thoughts. Engage it, explain why it's stupid, and then mock it. Mock it. Because they're trying to take control. Listen to what this woman says. In Dr. Seuss's books, we have a kind of sensibility which is oriented towards centering the white child and decentering everyone else. Which, by the way, is perfectly fine. You can have books that are written for white kids, just like you can have books that are written for black, brown, Oriental, Chinese. I mean, don't get mad. I'm fucking around. I'm being playful, you fucking cunts. Said Ebony Thomas, a professor of children's and young adult literature at the University of Pennsylvania. She is the author of The Dark Fantastic, Race and the Imagination, From Harry Potter to The Hunger Games. Dr. Seuss was shaped by a completely immersive, white supremacist culture, Thomas said. Even during that time, our ancestors and elders were protesting racist works and producing alternative stories for our children. How do we decide what endures and what doesn't endure? It's our responsibility to decide what kind of books to put in front of kids. But again, the problem is when you pull something from publication or from circulation, or eBay is a site for people to sell to each other. eBay is not selling you anything. They are simply facilitating the sale between people. And when you decide that you can no longer sell a thought, that's what a book is. A book is a collection of thoughts. When you are deciding that you can no longer sell these or that they can no longer be circulated, you're not deciding just for you. You're deciding on behalf of everyone else. And that's when it becomes a problem, is when some nut, which, by the way, if you spend your life studying children's books, studying children's fiction, it is possible that you are not entirely plugged into reality. And that maybe you are not the one who should be deciding how other people's kids should be raised. Okay? Again, if you want to include in your class fucking literature about kids of different backgrounds, different sexual orientations, adopted kids, whatever the fuck, of course, do it. Create more worldly children by all fucking means. We should be exposing kids to more, not less. Okay? Kids, they need to learn about the world they came from, and by attempting to erase this, you're creating, again, this generation of pussies who walk around the park with their mask on. Or, hopefully, a generation of people who start discovering this stuff and pushing back. Like, that's what you hope for, right? You hope that kids start discovering this shit and, people are scanning it and putting it online. I think it was Brett Weinstein was saying that. He's like, on Twitter, he's like, we gotta make PDFs of this and fucking save it, because this isn't the free market. They always come back with, they're always, well, you love capitalism, you love the free market. This is the market saying we're not going to do this. It's not. It's unfair manipulation of the free market. It's no different than when, hedge funds manipulate things, or when anyone unfairly manipulates a market. That's exactly what's going on here, all right? The bulk of people think this kind of stuff is fucking nuts, but when you attach words like racism and bigotry and everything else to it, people will automatically try to prove that they aren't. And if the only way to prove that you're not racist is to capitulate to the demands of the people calling you a racist, then you have unfair manipulation of the market and of the perceived public opinion. The statement And it's not good enough to not be racist. You need to be actively anti-racist is one that gets thrown around a lot in the current discourse. And what that does is it forces people to prove their anti-racist bona fides. So what they do is they go and they fucking they take Dr. Seuss out of the classroom because some lunatic who studies Harry Potter at Penn. Again, this is one of those situations like I've talked about with the poet laureate who graduated from Harvard. You can't trust these people who go to very good schools and study bullshit like poetry or Harry Potter. Okay? If you're studying Harry Potter and the Hunger Games at Penn, you are not connected to reality. You are not the one who should be deciding for the rest of us, okay? By all means, write your papers and live in your little fantasy world. It would be like us taking advice on how to run our society from people who engage in like live action role playing. Like remember from the movie Role Models at the end when they have the big medieval battle in the park. It would be like if those people tried to take the rules from their fantasy world and applied them to regular everyday human society. That's the equivalent of when we decide to pull things from store shelves because of what a professor who studies Harry Potter and the Hunger Games at an Ivy League university has to say. If we could frame things in that context, I think it would be a lot. It would make a lot more sense to people. Twitter has been having a ball with this, by the way. Conservative Twitter has been just mocking the shit out of this, rightfully so. It deserves to be mocked. This kind of thing. I'm sorry, I'm getting in such an uproar over it because what it truly deserves to be met with is mockery and derision, which thankfully conservative Twitter did here. They've been sharing clips of the Berenstain Bears, you may remember from your childhood, who are probably next on the chopping block because of their horrible smears against those who identify as gender non-binary. I'm going to read a quick passage, and this is a cartoon bear saying it to his cartoon bear son. I am a father, I am a he. A father is something you could be. And of course, they have the mother, the female bear, saying it to her young female bear daughter. She's saying, I am a mother, I am a she. A mother is something you could be, which we know now in the year 2021 is a horrible thing to say because anyone who wants to be a mother can be a mother. It's no longer breast milk, it's chest milk. Okay? We don't misgender people. Whether we are bears or twinks or otters or anything. Misgendering is wrong. So the Berenstain Bears, next up on the chopping block. And people are buying them up because they know that the Berenstain Bears will be canceled before long, right? It's almost like we're living in a poorly scripted TV show, and the writers are getting lazy as fuck. They're like, okay, well, there's a vaccine out. Things are starting to open up again. How's that beeline that we've had about everything that getting canceled? Can we punch that up a little bit? Yeah, we got it. So this week we're going to ungender Mr. Potato Head, and we're going to cancel Dr. Seuss, and we feel like that'll cover an hour this week. So we'll have a script into you by Tuesday. Yeah. Ridiculous. Is there anyone out there, I wonder, because they say that, kids are growing up depressed because they're the wrong gender and they're a man trapped in a woman's body or vice versa. Have we done a study? Has anyone grown up with battling depression or anxiety or suicidal tendencies because their gender identity wasn't accurately represented by an anthropomorphized, I can't get the fucking word out. You know what I'm talking about? Fucking potato. Do we have that? Is there a record of that? I don't think. Prove me wrong. Comment section. Fire away. Find it. But again, they could have just made a non-binary potato. Mr. Potato Head did not have to be eliminated to bring gender fluid Potato Head to life. You don't have to blow out one candle to make another glow. So it seems that's why people get pissed. They're like, hey, you got rid of Mr. It seems like you're just trying to eliminate males from the picture, right? People who made a Gillette commercial about toxic masculinity, even though men were the, it's just stupid, just ridiculous shit. It needs to be ridiculed. It needs to be laughed at. Again, we need to point out that the general public should not be taking... I'm going to make a stand here. The public at large should not be taking advice on its potato heads, its cartoon bears, its green eggs, or its ham from fucking nut jobs who study Harry Potter and the Hunger Games at Penn. Okay? If you are studying, if that's your life, you are telling me that you have zero real world experience and are not to be listened to. I think we have arrived at this is our final topic of the day coming up. There it is. Thank you, Grandma. May I have another? Where's the ball gag? There's the ball gag. Oh, baby. Do we have a steamy one for you to wrap up on? This is fun. This is, we have some copy from the New York Post. A nursing home boss wanted his new granny chef to make him her whipping boy, new court papers allege. Anna Maria Ferrara, a 51-year-old grandmother, says New Jersey nursing home supervisor Howard Lawton tried to rope her into a sadomasochistic relationship on her very first day of work, according to a Mercer County Superior Court lawsuit. First day is rough. You can't go and propose S&M on the first day. Even if you were feeling the vibe for just a regular run-of-the-mill, workplace hookup, gotta wait more than a day to put it out there, right? And that's with regular sex. If you just want to bang a new hire or a coworker, you need at least a few months of, warming up to each other and feeling it out. And is this, is she just being friendly because she's new here? What's what? Who's who in the zoo and what have you? If you're talking about ball gags and chains and nipple clamps and butt stuff and maybe putting some hot wax on your grundle and ripping it right off, I feel like you need at least a year of establishing rapport before you get to that. I don't know if you can jump right into this line he laid on to her on apparently her first day at work. I would like to be your slave, and you can be my master, Lawton allegedly told Ferrara on August 22nd, the same day she began her job as chef for Healthcare Services Group Incorporated at its Phillipsburg location. Oh wow, Phillipsburg! I used to drive through there on my way to college. Always fun to know you've been through the town where a man tried to get a granny chef to shove a dildo up his ass. Yeah, imagine that. First day, you're getting acquainted with the kitchen. This is where we keep the green beans, the flowers over here. Here's a couple sacks of rice, frying pan, and then all of a sudden, your new boss walks in with a ball gag and some electrodes and explains what some of your other workplace responsibilities will be. Yeah, I could see how that could be a little much. Lawton made clear that he hired Ferrara specifically because he desired to enter into some sort of sadomasochistic sexual relationship with her where Ferrara would sexually dominate him in some sort of imaginary dungeon, Ferrara's suit claimed. So that begs the question, was he hiring specifically for this? Or did she apply and he saw her when she comes in for the interview, and at that point he says, fuck a chef, I've been looking for a new dominatrix, and she will do. That, I feel they don't really elaborate on that here, but whatever the case, this fucking guy was full bore into it. Like, there's no mistaking. This wasn't a mixed or cross signals. The boss showed Ferrara a collar and a bracelet with the letters "Master" on his computer, telling her, "I really want to order these," the papers state. I mean, this is like, you cannot, there's, what, just the confidence. And weird. I mean, I guess not. They always say those, like, Wall Street guys. Like, I interviewed a woman once who spanked professionally, and she said she got a lot of, like, how high-powered Wall Street guys who they want to come in and be spanked. So, maybe that's it. Maybe this guy's managing an old folks' home. I don't know how high-powered he is, but just the audacity to come out and say it. He said, "I will give you the key, and then you will really be my master," Lawton added, according to the documents. Yeah, I mean, this is like reading, I feel like Chris Hansen. "I will give you the key, and then you will really be my master." Why did you say it? Why did you do it? You've got a collar that says "Master" on it. "We searched Lawton's car and found a collar and a key that said "Master" on it, along with a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade and a 3-pack of condoms with some lubricant. Yeah. Ferrara recoiled and told Lawton he was out of his mind. Well, I guess shoot your shot, right? Her fault. It is her fault that she just can't take a compliment, If nothing else, if someone comes up to me and says that they would like me to sexually dominate them, I may say no. It might not be I might not want to do it. It'd probably, if it was a hot chick who wanted me to be her daddy, I'd probably not oppose. But I mean, take a compliment, right? You can say no nicely. Lawton continued to mercilessly sexually harass her for the rest of her shift, the suit says. When Ferrara was leaving, he asked her what she was doing after work, saying, "We can go shopping for a collar." God, this guy really, really wanted that collar. Ferrara either ignored or rebuffed all of Lawton's advances, but that didn't stop him from still sexting her that evening, according to the papers. Yeah, I mean, again, and you do have to admire his dedication to getting dominated by the chef at a nursing home, which is just such a specific kink. Because you can find a dominatrix. They advertise themselves online. I don't know what they don't get into it, but it feels like his specific kink involves it being around the nursing home. He had said imaginary dungeon, so it's very confusing. Like, just go hire a fucking dominatrix. They're out there. You're in New Jersey. You're right outside of New York City. You can find a fucking dominatrix. The next day at work, he told her, "I could hardly sleep last night waiting to see you again," before informing her he bought the master collar, the court documents claim. I don't know if this guy wanted to be dominated or if he was just desperate for an excuse to buy himself a collar. This sounds more like he thought the collar would look really good. Like he wants to kind of give his image a little bit of edge, so he's bought this collar that says "Master," but he can't wear the collar unless he's into the scene because he's afraid that people are going to call him a fucking poser for having an S&M collar, even though he doesn't really get, slapped on his ass with a spiked paddle. So he just, like, this is like Michael Scott trying to throw himself into an S&M situation. Like, this is the S&M version of when Michael Scott tries to hook up with that chick who shows up at Dunder Mifflin to sell purses. On August 26th, Lawton then texted naked pictures of himself to Ferrara with the message, "Hope it pleases you, master," says the suit, which includes the alleged sex. Yeah, and I did take a peek at the alleged sex, and shame on me. I should have popped it into the Chiron here, which I now do not really have time to do. But he's standing in those undies. I don't know if you've seen them now. They make like sort of if you were compression pants, like Under Armour to work out in, or pretty much all of my boxer briefs now are of like the Under Armour material. They also make a kind that have a pouch for your junk that your cock and balls just sit in, and everything is presented quite nicely, and it's great. Like if you hook up with a chick, you take them off, and it looks like she's looking at like a really nice fucking hog, as opposed to all crushed up the way underwear is wont to do. So he's got that, and then he tags the picture with the line, "Obeying my master's wishes." Yeah. That's a bold one to send. Like I said, this appears to all have happened inside of her first week on the job. Give it a few months. It's August, they're saying? Hear me out. Wait until the office Christmas party, have a few drinks, build sort of a giggly rapport with her, and then you hang out around the workplace, you chat a little bit, couple more months go by, springtime is showing up, people get a little hornier around the spring, warm weather, pollen in the air, birds and bees. People like to fuck during the spring, people like to fuck during the summer. That's when you spring it on her. She's comfortable. Maybe make a light joke. She's holding a spatula, and you make a light joke about a time. You make up a story about getting your ass slapped with a spatula, and she gives you a light tap on the rump to show you she's into it. You got to finesse these things. You don't just come right out and buy a collar and cold approach someone to be your S&M master. That's not gonna work out too often. The next day, Ferrara told Lawton she didn't feel safe and wouldn't be coming into work, her suit says. A day later, August 28th, Lawton told Ferrara he was firing her over the 2005 felony on her record, despite the fact that Ferrara had disclosed the offense in her application, the court documents claim. The plaintiff said her arrest for an assault stemming from a fight she got into with another woman who Ferrara claimed was trying to steal something from her son. Ferrara's lawyer said his client pleaded guilty in the case. Lawton's hoopla over her old arrest was just a pretext, as he was actually firing her in retaliation for rejecting him, the court filing alleges. Ferrara continues to suffer severe emotional trauma and financial loss as she attempts to rebuild her life and her career, the court papers claim. Yeah, she should have, you know what I think she should have done? She should have fin-dommed him. Financial domination. If you don't know what that is, it's when a woman does sexually embarrassing stuff to a guy, like they'll do anything. Like a lot of times it happens via the internet, like they'll make them videotape themselves like eating their own shit or drinking their own piss. Just any embarrassing thing that you can think of, and they take pictures and videos, and they will threaten the guy to go public if he doesn't give them money. And this is all part of the kink. It's all consensual between the two. The guy gets off on providing money. They're called pay pigs. And so, he might make a video of himself with a dildo in his ass, eating a bowl full, on his hands and knees, eating a bowl full of dog food. And then he sends her the picture, so she has the picture, and she will make him Venmo her cash in exchange for not publicly posting those pictures. So that's what she should have done. If to fully take advantage of an opportunity, and you have to learn to spot an opportunity when it presents itself. You got a new job, so it pays a salary. I don't know what a chef at a nursing home makes. Maybe it's 60K with benefits, and that's nice. And then you have a guy who's making more money than you. and you really got him by the balls because he's propositioned you to be his dominatrix on the first day, and you know he's into this dom stuff, so you say, okay, but it's going to be a fin dom situation. You're going to be giving me some cheddar along with performing these depraved acts because I'm your master and you are my bitch and you're going to do what I say. And the next thing you know, you got him licking peanut butter off of a dog's balls and paying you $500 for the right to do so while he jerks off in his office. All right? Look at me. Look at me. I am a cis, hetero, white male providing empowering solutions to victims of the Me Too movement. Right? And what a gift. It is Women's, with an X, Wimixins History Month. What a contribution for me to make. You should thank me, fucking broads. You're all fucking crazy. You need an entire month now? Like, you didn't have Galentine's Day and Valentine's Day. It's now Women's History Month. You fucking crazy broads always need some kind of recognition. I can't wait until April when we get back to white cis males rule everything month. That's what I'm looking forward to. It's a perfect time for it to happen, too. Baseball comes back, the ultimate, old white male sport. Baseball comes back right around the time Women's History Month ends, and white cis males go back to being in charge of anything. I'll be looking forward to that. And Biden voters, you can't complain about me joking about this because you motherfuckers actually voted for a white cis male to run the country, and he is the boss of a woman of color. So shame on you, motherfuckers, right? Not shame on me. No, we're just having fun here. We're goofing. We're having a good time. We're pointing out the absurdity of the human condition in the year 2021. And I'm going to point out to you that right now it's time to wrap up this episode of the Savage Sack Tap. I got a nice ribeye steak to dig into. So thank you for tuning in, by the way. You can, if you want to check me out on social, facebook.com/The Savage Crew, and YouTube, Mike Montone are the two places where I've been live streaming these. I will shortly be adding a Twitch stream, I think, and then eventually I'll be streaming to Twitter as well. Twitter at Mike Montone. I love Twitter. I'm on there fucking around saying horrible things all the time, so please check me out there. And Gary_Moyler, Moyler, is my Instagram page. And you can find all of this stuff if you go to meatheadmedia.com. You can click on the social buttons. You can find my blog, my links to everything. So check it out. If you like what I'm doing, share it with a few friends. If not, you go fuck yourselves, and I'll catch you guys next time. Adios. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me shut down the old stream and end. Come on. There we go. Broadcast ended. Good.